Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to MAATI Samvaad, where we deep dive the stories that shape our world. Usually, an architect designs a building, but today we have a guest who designed an entire ecosystem of architecture in India. He is a man who has walked the ancient corridors of the city palace in Udaipur to restore them and the modern halls of Yale and Berkeley to teach them. He holds a PhD from De Montfort University, UK, and was the first Indian recipient of the prestigious Berkeley Teaching Fellowship. But perhaps his greatness contribution to our Mati in that he returned and to sow the seed here, he served as a founder director of the School of Planning and Architecture SPA Bhopal, transforming it from a concept on paper into an institution of national importance. From the brick temples of eastern India to the planning of Kumbh Mela in Ujjain, he spent lifetime bridging past and the future. Please welcome Professor Dr. Ajay Khare. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, sir, we will start from your early 20s actually. So, I just wanted to know that you were a National Talent Search Scholar and later a Charles Wallace Fellow. For the students listening to us today who dream about these fellowships, what was the hunger that drove you in your 20s? Was it just about getting a degree or something else?
Uh, Thank you, Jana, for asking this interesting question because it takes me to my roots. And I belong to Lucknow, and we used to live in a colony called Rajendra, and everyone there was almost a, I mean, whomsoever you talk to, everybody is preparing either for medical or for engineering, for some, and then there were many IAS officers also are living around because we used to live in a colony of. And so there was an environment of education, and we belong to a middle class family which was a very large family, joint family, and when I say large, we had Professor Bibi Lal, who was Padma Vibhushan at that point of time. He was one of the most sought after figure. So we used to wonder that we have one Mamaji who meets Indira Gandhi every now and then. I'm talking about our late 70s. And we have our parents who go every day in the morning to their secretariat office and railway. I'm son of a railway man, so he will go to a workshop. So what makes the difference that they come from same family, and there is a huge difference. There is another gentleman who works twice hard than our parents, and whosoever were elders in our family, they always said that your Mamaji was the topper of British time, and he was selected by British to study in Oxford. So I heard the word called Oxford from then, and then this was imbibed in us that if you will be educated, you will be doing well in life as well as will be respected. And because, as I mentioned about Professor Lal, Professor Bibi Lal was not only very well respected, but also that if we used to name that, oh, he is from our family, people will come to us. Namaste. And then, so that was one of the motivation that we want to do good in education system, and we knew that not that. And if I say that, what was the hunger? National Talent Search Examination in class 8th, you hear about it, and you think that if you get this, your life is secure and your parents will not be burdened for your own education. And Jana, I tell you, I always refer this to my students that I became an architect in 88 rupees. Can you believe that?
That's so
Because when you
not
when you
believable, sir.
the reason being, I tell you, and that in 88 rupees, some 80 rupees, that was a refundable fees which we have given. How come this? How could this happen? Because when you are selected for National Talent Search Examination, your entire education till graduation is funded by Government of India and Ministry of
Oh,
Education at that point of time. So that was one of the, and we, since we had examples of such people, so then that was one thing which was, and then I can say this, that when I was selected, I didn't even know that I try hard for it, because that was that came as a natural. And then after class 8, it was the scholarship was given in ninth, 10th, and then we were given scholarships in 11th, 12th, then graduation. Sorry, let me correct myself. It was for now, not for ninth, 10th, for 11th onwards. So 11th onwards, my parents have not contributed, or they have not, I mean, contributed immensely to increase your strength, moral strength. But for money, for my fees was not to be paid, because they knew that he is now selected, now is going to be someone. If nothing, then at least engineer तो बन ही जाएगा. But
right,
but
right.
I had my own dreams. The reason being, archaeologist, top archaeologist used to be our family member, and my parents, being another background, they when they asked this gentleman, Professor Lal, that what should he take after class 12, because when you passed class 12, then only you think about career choosing. Then at that time, it was decided by him, Professor Bibilal, and he named my father by name, and my father used to be called lovingly Modak. वो उनको बोलते थे बच्चू बाबा, बच्चू भाई साहब. तो बोले बच्चू भाई साहब इनको क्या बनाना है, बट बोले इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ना है, बट इसको आर्किटेक्ट बना, क्योंकि he has almost topped in his various examinations, and now to go for one particular professional education, I will say that don't go for run of the mill education. You go for suggested me that you try and prepare for architecture exam, which I
उस
didn't agree.
उस टाइम
So
पे तो
then,
आई डोंट थिंक बहुत आर्किटेक्चर कॉलेजेस रही होंगी इंडिया में.
yeah, our college in Lucknow was the only eighth college in India. So that means you can say that out of so many colleges in India, there were only 8 colleges, and there were some state government colleges which I am not counting, because there were what I am counting is that where a Lucknow boy can go and learn architecture, there were only 8 colleges.
Hmm.
So then, when I got admission in this, I actually, this is a very rare thing, that I have studied in architecture college, which was an arts one. So it is the movement of art and architecture colleges was started during late 20th century. So that means, sorry, late 19th century, when when they started bringing British architects to build the various buildings, public buildings. At that point of time, government of India, that is then British India, they decided to open many arts and architecture colleges, and one of them was our art college in Lucknow. And I can say other examples were JJ School, Lahore School of Arts and Architecture, and where they were essentially making draftspersons for the help of British architects. And the same thing was true for this particular college, which got degree granting status only after independence.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
This brings us in the interest of early 90s, what you are talking. From
Yes.
1995 to 2001, you have served as a conservation consultant for the Jaisalmer district administration and worked on several important projects in Jaipur and other places.
Mhm.
Can you share some memory from those times,
Okay.
any which have stayed till today with you?
Oh, yes. I can, without doubt, I can say one thing, that if I would have not gone to Jaisalmer, probably I would have not been talking to with you today. I would have been a practicing architect in Lucknow who might have minted a lot of money with none of such books behind his back. But yes, maybe much more money, because my colleagues have earned a lot, much more than me, and I am the only professor in my entire community. There are many professors, but not those who have gone into field of architectural conservation. And but so I am saying that run-of-the-mill architect, becoming a run-of-the-mill architect was never in my mind, and it never remained. So in 1995, when this opportunity came after finishing masters, one day one of my teacher, with a very confused state of mind, he asked me that, would you go to Jaisalmer? And that was Professor Satya Prakash Varanasi. He is a very renowned architect in Bangalore. A lot of people,
Yes.
those who know SP Varanasi, sir, he asked me that, would you go to Jaisalmer? I said, sir, I want to get married soon. Well, why? Because I have under lot of pressure from my family कि अभी architect बन गया, PG हो गया, अब शादी वादी करके अब फिर तेरी बहन की भी होनी है. So that was the kind of societal pressures also come on boys. So just mentioned to him, तो बोले, तो that is uh, you, who is stopping you for that? So Jaisalmer, going to Jaisalmer with the help of Professor S.P. Varanasi, and who interviewed me for that was a doyen of college. Today he is alive with us, and he will always remain respectable. That is Professor A.G.K. Menon. Professor A.G.K. Menon interviewed me for letting me go to Jaisalmer and work on a very prestigious site. At that time, you are sitting in Ahmedabad. That particular site was being worked upon by Professor Kulbhushan Jain. And
Mm.
it will be very interesting to know that I met Professor Kulbhushan Jain first time in Jaisalmer, not anywhere else, and his daughter also.
Oh.
So I think Meghal Arya is his daughter.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I also.
She came as a young girl at that time, Professor Menon. So in just when I was in Jaisalmer, so memories about Jaisalmer. I mean, when I reached Jaisalmer, I didn't see that movie of Satyajit Ray, which said Sonar Kila, because most of the people, those who go to Jaisalmer, they go there after seeing the movie, so they know little bit about it. I didn't see that movie, but I went there only after the Festival of India were organized by India, our government. So, in that, if you recall, that well, people of my age only will recall that festivals of India were organized in various towns, cities of the capitals of the world. One of them was Paris, where Festival of India was organized, and Jaisalmer was documented by the Professor K.T. Ravindran, Professor K.B. Jain, so many architects were there. And then Festival of India was one of the major introduction of Jaisalmer to the world. And even today, if you want to see Jaisalmer in my library, Electra Vanitian's publication, I will take out first, because that will have the Royal Square, the Var Square kind of thing. So then when I reached there, I had only bookish knowledge. And
Huh.
when I reached there, the collector of town, who was my host, he was looking for how to save Jaisalmer from, can you believe it, desert town. My first brief was, please save us from water. I said, where is water with you? You guys have water. And this was my fight with Jaisalmer in 6 months, was about saving Jaisalmer from climate change kind of situation, and lot of rains happening, and then all those rains were actually going into the fort walls, and the fort walls were crumbling. And then
Oh.
that is why I was invited there, so that we can provide a drainage pattern on the on the fort. So then when you go to such place in 90s, you think that fort means there would be nobody. When I went there first time, next morning of landing there, and I was welcomed by a group of people. Not group, means there was a mob, and they just mocked me that एक कहते हैं ना एक आर्किटेक्ट को एक अजूबा वो देर इज इंजीनियर आया है एक, वो हम लोगों को क्या सिविल लाइन डलवाएगा. I, yes, that was the plan. The plan was water management plan prepared by Professor Kebijan for HUDCO, and HUDCO was supposed to be doing that. So that was a long time I spent in Jaisalmer for almost 18 months. I don't think there was one single day when I would have not taken a round of the town. So you can see that I know Jaisalmer as the back of my And then, as I mentioned, while I was in Jaisalmer, I also got married in Lucknow. And then our first reception was held not in Lucknow. The reception was held by the king of Jaisalmer in Jaisalmer.
Wow. This is amazing. This is amazing story actually.
And very interestingly, that particular Swail Brajraj ji, आज भी है, Brajraj Singh ji की भी शादी happened only a week before. So then I attended their reception and they attended our reception, and both the things were happening every other day. And then people were thinking that who is this architect who knows collector, who knows everybody, and also knows these. And as you know, that intact during those times was always headed by some key figures of the town. So, member of Legislative Assembly, Dr. Jiten Singh, who was a member of royal family. That's how we came to know this king and all. But it is really an interesting story. I still have all those wonderful pictures where Khamangani Hukum, when you say.
This is so interesting, sir. It feels like you are so much attached to the roots. I have, I'm coming up with a question that you completed your master's from York in 1995 and then PhD into 2003.
Hmm.
Often we leave home in search of better opportunities, but we return with, new eyes and all. How did the studying conservation in UK change the way you looked at our own Indian heritage? Especially when we talk about the temples in Eastern India, you have worked a lot.
Hmm.
Can
Such
you
a
brief?
beautiful. Hmm. Such a beautiful question. And before you could say brief answer, I wanted to say this would probably can cover all our conversation. But briefly, in 1995, when I went to York, by that time, I have spent my tenure in Jaisalmer. So that
Mm,
means that in 92, after passing out master's program from SP Delhi, I went to Jaisalmer. And while working in Jaisalmer, the kind of exposure I was talking about, Patwa Havelis to fort and restoring fort, etc. And so many projects that all those drawings are still kept in my this room. They after that kind of exposure, when you go to UK and when you realize that right from those buildings which you have studied in Bannister Fletcher, you are standing in front of them, but then they are being kept so wonderfully well preserved. So you start almost about thinking about that what you can do going back to your own country. Not
mm,
even for one single day, Jana, me and my wife, by that time we were together in York, thought that we will stay back in England. Not even once. We were only thinking about that when we will go back, how we will be able to contribute. Now, you are very right. There were people who used to laugh upon us that, oh, you want to come back? Mara man nahi lag raha. And things like that. But the reason was that since, I mean, being from middle class, for me, the achievement of traveling in a British Airways plane, that itself was a dream come true. Because there are people who travel in domestic airlines first and then go to for, international. I might have been one of those people who traveled for the first time in air in an international airline. डोमेस्टिक ट्रैवल हमने कभी नहीं किया था उसके पहले.
सही बात है
From
सर, वो तो अचीवमेंट है आपका. कम लोगों को
so
नसीब होता है.
So then this experience of being in York and being after that for this study for one full 11 months exposure, and that too in the heart of England where William Morris has, you know where it is, York is located, you yourself have visited and seen and everything. So then being, and so when you are in York, you are surrounded by many, and then at that time Peter Berman used to take us from length and breadth of the country, and then we also went to Scotland, and we could. My mind was always working upon that to draw parallels. When I am in a cathedral, I will compare it with Jagdish Mandir. When I am in a big palace, I will compare it with my Jaisalmer palace. And then when I am in such some very strange building, then I will compare it with Bhul Bhulaiya of Lucknow. That was my from in York. Every like in Jaisalmer, I said I might have not spent one single day without taking round. Same was true for York. York, the size, if you start from King's Manor, we used to stay. From there, if we have to take the full round, and we'll come back from the other side of garden. So that was
So
teaching.
true.
Every single moment was a teaching moment for us. And here I am saying us means both me and Rachna, and we were learning various things, ways of life, and but you other mentioned about PhD also. But I tell you what happened in 1995 I finished my York practice as I sorry York teaching a master's program. At that time I came back to India, and when I came back, I didn't go to Jaisalmer. I started my own practice in Jaipur. And when we started our own practice in Jaipur, I mean, again, the same stories were happening, and we were constantly being reminded that there are so many things to be conserved. And I'm really one of those lucky people who didn't have to look for Agrawal Saab ka makan, Sharma ji ka ghar, and Verma ji ka ghar. I immediately found very, very important uh, buildings to be conserved. When I mentioned about Jagdish Mandir, Udaipur, I went to Udaipur first to conserve that temple, which is the presiding deity of Udaipur town. Never met CPC Central City Palace Complex people by that time, because the project was being done for government of Rajasthan. So that's Devasthan department. Now, to come back to this, that what we were doing in these 3 4 years of private practice, it was all purely conservation practice. Sometimes my wife used to say that I am only for making drawings, or I will do some other modern projects also. And then in these talks, suddenly we got a very, very important project, that is ISKCON Temple of Jaipur. And the ISKCON Temple of Jaipur, when I got my first check of 25,000 rupees in my hand, I thought that, oh, okay, now I am architect. That is, we're talking about 97. Hmm. That was my biggest project in Jaipur, and that it still is one of the most. I mean, it is not a heritage building. ISKCON Temple is a new building, but yes, made in a Rajasthani pattern. And when we got second project, then Rachna ji involved herself fully, because then by that time we were known in Jaipur, and Jaipur was waiting for conservation architects, because all mainstream architects, those who were working in Jaipur, they used to call us that, oh, I have got a project, I am not unable to handle. People say that इसको convert कर दो 25 कमरे के होटल में. And that was happening because we were working on heritage hotel policy also, as
When
practicing.
when you are talking about Jaipur, what important question मुझे ध्यान में आ रहा है. I really want to know and deep dive into the story how Drona was started.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah, so this is a very interesting point. How Drona was formed, when we were working in Jaipur. I was living in a house. It is again, they all got created coincidences. We were living in a house. One day, my house owner, we were in a rented house. House owner said that, Shikha Khanna. It looks like the name is heard, because we were in college together. But then शिखा खन्ना कब कहाँ 90s में निकल गई, चली गई. Then I recalled there was a boy called Raka who used to live in hostel. So I said, yes, I know. बोले उनकी mother है वो, she is my colleague. Very good. So one day Shikha just came in, and then I realized that Shikha is now married with Raka, and they are in. They have Shikha went to do her PG in US, and her PG, as you know, urban conservation and all those activities. And then when we met, Shikha was in talks with Professor Adam Hardy, right, about doing her own PhD. So Shikha is senior, much junior to me in architecture, but very senior in PhD because she was doing PhD. And then she suggested me to do PhD. And I thought that I am running a good practice. I mean, I never thought about, but this all happened due to grace of God that she suggested, and I also wrote to Adam that okay, I would like to do practice. So then this friendship continued for long, but then this happened. I would say that this got strengthened because of a project which was launched by government of Rajasthan, that is called Ghat Ki Guni restoration. And then I recall that when we started working on Ghat Ki Guni project as a competition, Shikha and Rakesh, they were working parallelly, and there were many architects who were working parallelly. And when we went to submit our submissions, we submitted and forgot about it. And one day, government of Rajasthan calls me that these are the submissions you are supposed to make plan for it. For
Oh,
what? For what? For making, they were doing their ever first tourism summit, and Bhairav Singh ji will inaugurate it. Said that before that we have to do work, and I have not done that kind of survey. Well, to make your job easier, I have these four submissions. So the submissions of various people were given to us, and we all, including mine, then and we worked together to make a project to of Ghatkiguri. Now this friendship actually strengthened because very good works from Shika's office, Rakesh and Shika used to run by the name directions, not
oh,
Drona. So द्रोणा अभी नहीं फॉर्म हुआ है, ये घाट की गुनी से दोस्ती बनी है. This friendship has got strengthened and it continued, but then times changed and I shifted to academics, and Drona was not formed when I was in Jaipur.
oh.
Mhm. Drona was formed with because we were on the same ground. Me and Shikha actually shifted to Jaipur from Gurgaon to sorry Jaipur to Gurgaon, and then she thought that when we are in Gurugram, so we should name after Dronacharya some organization. And we were in touch, and I was in Birla Institute of Technology as a professor. Early days, I was associate professor. This project came to us or to Shikha about this Udaipur City Palace. So City Palace complex was seen by me, and I had visited Udaipur many times. Of course, Jaipur became home, second home. Till then, I had used to have a plot there, but it was formed when we were working as teachers in Ranchi, and since it was a private institute, I could join, saying that yes, we will be partners. And maybe because you have another MAATI Samvaad must be with planned with Shikha, she would tell you that all four of us founders gave only 5,000 rupees each to establish this organization for registering. And we thought that okay, if it will start and function, and then we were Suchandra madam, Professor Dr. Suchandra Vardhan from Jadavpur University, and China used to be great friend of Shikha. So we used to call ourselves ABCD. A for Ajay, B for Bardhan, C for China, and D for director, because and director was chosen by then because she will be in Delhi and Gurgaon. So Shikha was director. So the ABCD of Drona were formed, and then Drona Foundation. Now today Drona has more than 140 members, and it's a big organization, and we are really proud of being founders. And whenever there is a founders meeting, we always say that when we started, we didn't have, and we actually we borrowed some money from Directions, which is the firm of Rakesh and Shikha, which used to be. So then we borrowed some money कि चलो कुछ दिन तो चलेगा काम. Then now Directions can be bought by Drona.
This is so interesting, sir, because there is a misconception that Drona was formed in Jaipur, actually.
No, the Drona was formed when Shikhaji established her directions firm in Gurugram, and because of the name of the Gurugram, Dronacharya came into picture. So
Hmm.
Drona is Dronacharya, and DRO, and then became acronym, and that way. So that these four friends, they even till today, I mean, whenever Shikha is in Bhopal, she will not hesitate to come and stay with us, and without even telling, 7 o'clock, I am not going back, I'm coming here. So, and that kind of friendship we maintain. And Suchandra madam is, नाम से हम लोग मैडम उसको इसलिए कहते हैं क्योंकि वो, बिकॉज शी इज अ बिट प्रोफेसर लाइक. We were always naughty like. China used to be one of the naughtiest, but all four of us. But then this Drona was formed and we never looked back. And it, because of the very, very hard work put by many associates and wonderful associates who are now going to be associate directors of Drona in few times. And we have a governing body meeting on 12th of this month. So it will keep on growing, and we hope that it can have a wonderful transition. Projects range from buildings, interpretation centers to national to international, and of course, Shikha as a person have got tremendous respect in the international circle because of the international
Yeah.
in the in World Heritage Committee. She was one of the first person to head or take part in advisory committee on World Heritage matters. That doesn't exist anymore, but then that is how she started getting involved in that. And Drona activities kept on. Then we established Drona Foundation, in which even Rachna joined. And when Rachna ji joined, then we started working in the field of her expertise, which is providing accessible heritage in all terms. And
Hmm.
Udaipur City Palace is one of the place which is made accessible with the help of SPA Bhopal, BIT Mesra students, our teachers. Because when I joined, acha, now over to you because I will keep
So
going on.
we can continue, sir. मेरा next सवाल सिटी पैलेस उदयपुर के लिए ही था. So
Yeah.
because that was funded by Getty Foundation, और
Hmm.
मतलब
Hmm.
in country like India, heritage is not just a dead monument. It people live and breathe in it. So आप जो कंटिन्यू कर रहे थे आप कंटिन्यू रखिए. मुझे वही जानना था, सिटी पैलेस ही जानना था नेक्स्ट.
Yeah, as I mentioned, 2003, this particular project of City Palace complex of Udaipur, जिसको हम लोग हमेशा अपने उसमें CPC कहते हैं, City Palace Complex Udaipur. And when I'm one of those rare people who have seen it, the question which you have asked, that it was really a dead heritage. It was not working at all. It was in the hands of government, and it is like that. We thought that what is this? It is such a wonderful place. But I have seen it when I was working as a practicing architect in 90s, late 90s. So then you can see the 10 years of period, 94 to 2004. So this project is actually started with the foundation of Drona in a bigger way from 2004 onwards. And City Palace Complex, a visionary had, and they have formed MMCF called Marana Mewar Charitable Foundation. Now, our heritage in India, I'll just divert a little bit, that our country heritage was mainly that heritage which was being used by the people who were governing the small states. Just
Hmm.
imagine one place, Udaipur. Now, can you believe that City Palace Complex remained the head of all activities related with a big state, big state, Mewar. Now, Mewar being a very big state, it used to have national archives, or in Mewar archives, it would have their district, their subedars will also come and meet. So there will be a janana. Otherwise, people say that ek janana, ek mardana, ho gaya palace. No, there will be administrative complex, huge administrative complex, and that is what is City Palace Complex is. And there will be some aslas. Aslas means stories, some firearms, and then the history was protected from both sides. One side being Pichola Lake. Now, so what I am saying is that CPC, City Palace Complex Udaipur, was actually a very, very complex building. And when we started working on it, the very first thing, which the biggest challenge was to document it completely and find those hidden ways. And then the best part of the whole project was there was a gentleman who is called Shriji. Oh, we have just observed his first Punyatithi yesterday, and he passed away last year. Shriji Marana of Udaipur, she he was very active during that time, and he has passed his childhood in that complex. So he would come and say that I used to go from this side and that side, and he would tell us the ways to reach whichever possible ways. And we and the team used to spend a lot of time there, and that was being supported by MMCF, Marana Mewar Charitable Foundation, because they were visionaries. And when they got this project, first reaction of Shriji was that I have no money, I can't fund it. Now, from if you people in the group of you youngsters, you can write a great grant. So grant application writing, which is now almost a profession, grant application writing was started by our team, and then they started working, and then Getty had this condition that if we will fund 5 crore, the owners have to fund equal amount. Now,
Oh,
there comes a visionary. Now, he can see that if this work is done, master plan is made, and if this work is done, there will be much more income that he could see foresee, and that is why he could find it. Now here, that is why this question and this particular project is very, very important. This particular project might have been visited by almost all dignitaries coming to India. Very recently, when this AI summit was held, every ambassador was going to Udaipur just to see this, and G20 summit, everyone, and then ambassador of US, uh, twice he has written this is the one of the best historical place in India, while standing in the palaces which we have conserved. A city palace complex can take us to that kind of memory lane where I might have got hurt many times, my team members, youngsters, and but then it was documented with best possible ways, and photogrammetry was also used with the help of Roorkee University. At that time, it used to be Roorkee University, not IIT Roorkee. At that, after photogrammetry, we could draw perfect elevations, and then today you can draw it probably with the help of lidar and other new equipment very fast, but at that time it was very difficult, and to locate every single crack, every single problem of the facade of the, that was big challenge. I don't think I have spent more time on any other site than in Udaipur City Palace, but it was rewarding for me. It was not might have been not really something which I have uh, got as a money wise, but it was extremely rewarding experience for the learning, and then that I could take it to use it in further, which will be your probably next questions coming about the institutions. Hmm.
yeah, I just wanted to come to that question itself, that how, I mean, the City Palace is an amazing project. So how you took over founding SPA Bhopal, and what was the difference in running an institute and building one from the scratch? We want
Hmm.
to know the story about SPA.
Well, when this particular Udaipur City Palace complex project was running, and in 2008 or so, at that time, Rachna ji got this opportunity of being Fulbright Fellow in US. So we went to US Atlanta for 1 full year. At that time, I was a bit cut off. When I came back, Government of India started thinking about founding two new national institutes in the name of same name, School of Planning and Architecture. So it was also really a coincidence that we came on in the month of July of 2008, and in the same month there was an advertisement that the Government of India is looking for directors of new SPAs. Now
Oh.
we thought that this must be a fake news. Why they are, then we checked up with the people in the Institution of Town Planning, ITPI India, where I knew Dr. Meshram and other people. So they said, no, no, it's not fake news. You want to apply? I said, well, it looks like a very good opportunity. Why would I not apply? But I don't think that I will be eligible or selected, but because I have no political connection. but then I will definitely apply. And in 2008, I sent this application, July, and then we came. Jana, let me remind. 15th of July, I come back to India, and 28th of July, I submit this application. So that means it was probably people were waiting for me, or destiny was waiting for me.
But sir, this is so amazing. You have a good experience in applications. You have so many fellowships, so many awards. David, I think I will take a personal tuition from you to write an application for fellowship and grants. So this is, I don't think it is coincidence, as you are saying for many times, but I think that, you know, sometimes people, even God knows who is going to work well for these things, and He is giving you these opportunities. I was so surprised when I saw your CV that you have hired 55 faculty members. That was highest that time after SPA Delhi. So can we talk a bit about building structures, but how hard it was to build the culture of a new national institute?
Oh, definitely building an institution and institution building, they are uh, one of the biggest challenges again, which any person can face. But then when this opportunity came to me, and not only 55 faculty members, but also equal number of almost 60 non-teaching members. So now when I so then at one point of time you are selecting, then one, I tell you, with my background, one thing I knew: I'm son of a railwayman, and man lived in a very big family where people from various backgrounds do come. I always knew this, that diversity is going to help the institution. And when I reached Bhopal, uh, I knew one thing, that we don't want low very, because at that time National Institute of Technology in Bhopal used to be one of the important institutions, but we heard that it is suffering because of the localization. And when we saw this opportunity here, I met minister at that point of time, and we mentioned that we would like to take not follow the NIT line. So then the minister said that why not you follow something which is very central to government, means central. If it is central government, it should be from all possible angle national. And
Hmm.
on that particular day, he gave me this idea that you have to draft a bill. Bill means which will be presented in the parliament for institutions of national importance, for schools of planning and architecture. Here we are talking about the place which I have not even taken over or haven't joined. At that time, he given this idea that it should be institution of national importance, and for that you can take help of IITs. And one thing I knew, that IITs have tremendous amount of funds, but then I can say that I took help of institution of management, because that is a very specialized special discipline, management. Now I did not take much help from IIT and their bill, etc. So when I thoroughly studied, I tell you, very interesting books written about the IIM Ahmedabad, where they have started the culture, and I have all that those books in here. That brick buildings, how they started that. So all those books were read during those times when I was waiting for any house to be given to me, so that I can bring my family in SPA. But then before that, a very interesting incident happened. When I joined SPA Bhopal as director, to cut the long story short, I joined as director. At that time, Rachna ji, my wife, got an opportunity, and she was also looking for some change from Ranchi. Then Tata Trust, they were looking for a professor of Tata chair in NIT Ahmedabad. And
Oh,
just like me, she also thought that it is something beyond my reach, but what is the harm in filling the form? And then she worked for a year in Ahmedabad as Tata Chair Professor in National Institute of Design. At that point of time, I used to go very frequently to Ahmedabad. And of course, so then a lot of ideas have come from IIM Ahmedabad to make the institution in the national by nature. And NID also played some role in my thinking process, as you mentioned that so many people being appointed. My application, my house used to be full of application bundles of those green wrapped up, and I would look for those who are from diverse background. And at in the very first appointments, my institution was filled by people who will speak Malayali, who will speak Tamil, who would also speak some Gujarati, but good amount of people were Marathi speaking. But then at the same time, we had good number of Bengali speaking people. So it was a mini India in terms of
Hmm.
the national institution.
I assume it is same till today also.
Oh well, because the number have increased. So, but this is Jana. Thank you very much for saying so. But there is a saying that institutions are not built by people. They it is, as you have mentioned by in your question, that culture, that if the foundation is correct and you leave a culture of having diversity, then probably it works out. And can you believe, after my directorship there have been no North Indian director. The second regular director have come from who happened to be from SP Delhi, but he was also from South India. Professor Rao, who is the current director, who Kailash Raoji, who was with me in my PG program in SPA Delhi. He was a year junior to me. He is the current director of SPA Bhopal. So you can see that there have been influences of people from North India, South India, and for some time after my tenure, Chetan Vedya sir, who is from Baroda, he remained acting director, but he remained acting director in a very important manner, that I was his deputy here, in the sense because he was Delhi SPA director. So then you can see the continuity, and then the culture remains. And till today, I tell you one interesting fact. Today, after Holi, we have all kind of festivals celebrated, but I have spent my for after my foundation founder directorship ended in 2014. I remained acting director during Vidyasar's term till 17, but after 2017 to another 5 years, I was in Ministry of Culture, National Monument Authority, but not even a day my room remained vacant, and I still sit on that particular chair. But the point which I am trying to make here is that when I go there, I feel like that I am in my home. And everyone, I'm really lucky that I receive so much love and affection from people, that even anywhere in the Bhopal town, if my people, those who are appointed by me, if they will be found, they will just touch feet. I said, please don't embarrass me in the market. It's a holy market, but then it is the kind of affection and love we have received. Thankfully, so.
So that is so amazing. You have received so much love from everywhere. It's not only from India. I was reading about you when I came in. You were the first Indian to receive Berkeley Teaching Fellowship in 2011 to 12. You focused on universal design for Kumbh Mela in Ujjain, if I'm not wrong. How do you make our ancient, chaotic, and spiritual festival accessible to elders and the disabled? Is India really ready for the universal design?
To answer your last question first, is India ready for universal design? I tell you, this it is definitely the mindset where we have only India is the place which can be ready for universal design. Otherwise, every place is created by artificially. But it is the only place where people take care of each other. And some days back, we have seen Mahakumbh organized in some years, 1 year back, last year in Prayagraj. I saw and noted, and there have been so many of my relatives from Uttar Pradesh have visited Mahakumbh, where disabled, elderly, everyone have taken part. And you might have heard so many other stories, but you might have never heard that any disabled person had faced any problems. Then, so what it draws, what is the bottom line? The bottom line is if universal design is connected with faith, then it is going to be one of the most successful way of handling these chaotic places. I have just come back some days back from Kanchipuram, where Brahmotsavam was going on, and I
Hmm.
saw that so many people using wheelchair and crutches, etc. They were lined up to do seva. But then it's amazing that where nobody takes care of anyone. But if there are now, here is another mindset that it's because faith draws them there. So then faith helps them. So then it is only India is definitely not ready in that sense, but India is the place where universal design can be most successful by applying different ways. We cannot apply the similar universal design ways as are applicable in Los Angeles, in India. Whereas we can apply those ways which are applicable in probably Ankara, probably in those places which are places of faith.
Hmm.
So that is one of the things. But at the same time, the I would say that Berkeley Teaching Fellowship, when it came to us, it was not me only because I was the one who wrote application. So I am named. Yes, I am first recipient. No, but at that time I can tell you that since I was director of SP Bhopal, can't believe that there were 12 buses of students whom we took to attend home in Ujjain. Ujjain is not very far from Bhopal, but then all of them were so excited about it, and they are the leaders. The batches which passed till 2020 from SPA. They are the leaders of their profession. We always are proud of them. But then, because every one of them were having the same traits of education. So that is why they are. So the Berkeley Teaching Fellowship came because of the institution, not because of personally, but because of me. But I was one of those who were talking about historic towns, and then there were people who were talking about, and Rachna ji was one of them because she was a chair professor in Ahmedabad earlier. So then, however, at that time she was on the other side of Berkeley because she was in charge of essays of Berkeley Prize Fellowship. But
Oh.
this came to institution, and it was very successful, and it resulted into a book called Design for All, and
Hmm.
edited by Benjamin Clavel. I'm seeing that book, but I won't go to pick that up because it's a large room. Benjamin Clavel Saab is a professor in Berkeley and UCB, and when I am going there this spring term in Getty, we will be meeting and reviving our memories and talks. And this Getty Fellowship, however, that's not in one of the questions which is there, but this fellowship also have come for this particular purpose, as you have mentioned. I am talking about the historic towns which are having. My topic is temple towns, and I am
Hmm.
focused on Kanchipuram in this particular fellowship. And then the prize, sorry, fellowship have come by the name of Kanchipuram. And when I went to Kanchipuram this time, that a lot of people were saying, "Sir, why are you going? You have to prepare." I said, "I have to prepare, but when I will go in Brahmotsav, I've been to Kanchipuram, but in Brahmotsavam I didn't." So I saw a calendar and I was running to, I am going there. I have to see that chaos, which you have used the word. I have to see that chaos. I mean, the chaos में जो मजा है अपने देश में वो
वो
ब्रह्मोत्सव जो है ना वाकई में ब्रह्मोत्सवम है वेयर ब्रह्म इज ऑलरेडी ऑन अर्थ पूरा ब्रह्मांड उतर आता है जैसे लगता है और माँ कामाक्षी के दर्शन जब होते हैं तो इट रियली इज अ डिफरेंट फीलिंग एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई वेंट देयर
that is so amazing. From all these stories, I want to take you back to somewhere you started. So, from a student in Lucknow to the dean and founder director, if you could go back to that young Ajay Khare who
Hmm.
received his BAc degree in 1989, what is the one piece of advice you would give to him?
Hmm. I would say follow your heart and you will reach the right place where you are destined to. And I say that with great responsibility. And Jana, I am sitting in front of Ram Lala's statue, and my PG thesis was about Ayodhya. And everyone on earth, including my teachers, Nalini Thakur, and everyone said that you are going to fail. Very good. But I want to do this Ayodhya thesis. Ayodhya as a one of the Mokshadayini Nagari, one of the cities of salvation. So then, at that point of time, as I mentioned, that if that would have not happened and that would have not happened, then probably I would have not been this. But then, why all this happened? Because I was following my heart, and I would say that, Mr. Khare, if you have passed BArch in 1989 or 1926, oh sorry, 2026, follow your heart. And if it says that you are supposed to be doing this better, then please do that. Don't think the consequences. And I definitely did not, but yes, I made sure that my both ends meet. सो लेकिन डेस्टिनी है, बट आपका जो मुकद्दर है वो लिखा तो ऊपर वाले ने है. सो आप इफ यू आर डूइंग योर वर्क diligently, then it is going to take you to whichever heights you want to. And that is what I would definitely advise my young graduates, those who are graduating. It is an investment. Education is investment, and further higher education is also investment. Going to various places, all this is investment. When you will reach at 60 years of age, you will see that your room is not full of money, but full of those books, that every single book is actually read by you, whether it is city shaped or, and that is what you have earned. And in these, if there are three, four of your own books, then you have done your work.
So true. Sir, what quick say? I will just ask few questions. एकदम short, one sentence वाला answer. बहुत
जी,
rapid fire जैसा.
जी बिल्कुल.
What would you select? Brick or stone?
Sorry, I could hear. Sorry.
What will you select? A brick or stone?
Stone.
Your favorite temple complex in Eastern India?
In Bankura, Vishnupur temple.
One word to describe the initial days of SPA Bhopal.
Sangharsh, struggle, but every day is full of satisfaction.
A building in the world you wish you could conserve.
You could.
You could conserve.
Oh, Kailash Nathar temple in Kanchipuram.
The most sustainable material according to you.
That is why I chosen stone.
Stone. So amazing. इसमें से कुछ आंसर मुझे पहले से ही पता थे. I had guessed by your history that you might say this. Thank you so much, sir. As we come to the close of this remarkable conversation, I'm drawn
Here,
back.
I tell
Sorry.
this is called Samvad, but you need to answer some questions.
Oh, really? Yes, I'll do.
Jan, I just want to ask you one thing, that what brought you to this idea of talking to older people like us? Salim Saab and संग मित्रा मैडम, जिनको मैं भी दीदी बोलता हूँ, and अभी और भी लाइन में है. ये क्या हो रहा है? What is this going on? And thank you. In fact, you know what? I read and I passed, saw the entire interview of Samvad of Salim sir. And Salim sir, I know for years. So many things new I came to know. And same is true for Sangmitra. And when probably people will hear about me, they will also come to know. And then I think that it's a great, great work you are doing. Whether it will be useful for me or not, I am sure that some people will find it useful.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to answer your question. I recently met you all. I was not knowing any one of you earlier, as in person. Obviously, we have read about you, your projects, and we know all that. But I would not be able to say I know you. Matlab, we see so many presentations कि ये प्रोजेक्ट बुक्स देख रहे हैं ये देख रहे हैं बट हाउ दैट पर्सन रीच्ड देयर that is the actual story I feel because I remember my grandmother used to tell me so many stories and I'm so fascinated to hear so many stories that sometimes I feel like you learn more from the stories of a person than actually just looking at their work. So for sure आज भी everyone would have learned a lot because I cannot cover everything in 1 hour, that is for sure. पर एटलीस्ट जो भी हम सुन रहे हैं अभी वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, वो कुछ नया है और इससे सीखने को मिल रहा है. फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग मैंने बहुत सारी फेलोशिप्स ट्राई की है. आपके जितनी फेलोशिप तो मैं शायद कभी नहीं कर पाऊंगी. आई आई वांट टू लर्न दैट स्किल. हाउ कैन यू because the kind of life you had, it is so inspiring. मुझे ऑलमोस्ट 3-4 years पहले पता चला चार्ल्स वॉलेस ट्रस्ट है. there are these kind of things, there is Getty fellowship, these that you can apply all this, though I have stayed in US for 4 years. But to have that kind of knowledge in that period of your life is so important. It helps you grow in a different manner. मैंने इसलिए आपसे पूछा अगर आप उसी अजय खरे को कुछ कहना चाहते हो तो क्या कहोगे because that that is that I don't know. I mean, you have a wonderful life for sure. You have achieved a lot, but there might be something you might be thinking some days कि वो ट्राई किया होता तो ज्यादा सही रहता, मतलब शायद कुछ और होता. But these stories are so important. How you reached Uday Palace. I mean, बहुत जरूरी है ये सारी बातें. आई नो सत्य प्रकाश सर. आई हैव बीन आई लिव इन बैंगलोर सो आई नो हिम बट आई नेवर न्यू दिस कनेक्शन. सो
अरे वाह.
दिस इंटरेस्टिंग. मतलब मैं आपको भी जानती हूँ, मैं उनको भी जानती हूँ, पर मुझे नहीं पता था आप दोनों एक दूसरे को जानते हो. एंड इन दिस
There is a book given by him in which he has written, "Pray Ajay, do well." ऐसे बस कुछ नहीं. अजय, प्रिय अजय, do well.
this is really interesting, and actually I really like talking to you all. I really want to know a lot from you all, but I try to concise my questions in a way that the audience, the students or the next generation get to learn something from all the experience. Because जहाँ तक मुझे समझ में आता है in these years, I've learned that if you learn from the experience of your elders, you will grow better. बिकॉज जो शायद मेरी दादी ने जो गलतियां की थी उन्होंने सीख लिया कि ऐसे नहीं करते, ऐसे करते. वो मेरे पापा ने सीख लिया, मेरी मम्मी ने सीख लिया, वो हमने सीख लिया. बिकॉज दैट नॉलेज पास्ड ऑन, द जनरेशनल वेल्थ इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. और हम तो कॉन्जर्वेशन वाले, हमको तो पता ही है जनरेशनल वेल्थ कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है.
जी बिल्कुल.
तो ये तो आप सब हमारी जनरेशनल वेल्थ हो. आपसे सीखना तो बनता है.
बिल्कुल.
आई एम
मैं
सो हैप्पी.
जरूर उसके पहले एक शेर बोलने की इजाजत दें तो आप बिल्कुल बोलो.
जरूर सर.
ये जो हमारे देश का साहित्य है, लिटरेचर ऑफ इंडिया, which is either written in Indian, any Indian language for that matter, this is the gist where we can learn from. And if you start learning from, I mean, if I say one single word, I have learned so much from Madhusha. I have learned so much from Ghalib's writing and so many things from Bachchan Sahab's writing. And then, before his close, I would say that one of the recent poets, not recent, but Atal ji, जो जिनकी कविताएं हैं, they are mind-boggling. हार नहीं मानूंगा पर रार नहीं ठानूंगा, काल के कपाल पर लिखता हूँ मिटाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ. Every day is a new day. Don't fall into the false egos. Don't fall into because जो गालिब साहब कह गए ना कि डुबोया मुझको होने ने, ना मैं होता तो क्या होता, ऐसा ये भावना लेकर के अगर if we proceed forward, it will be really a lovely path for everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. That was so interesting, so amazing. आज का conversation was अपरंपार. मतलब आई एम सो हैप्पी टू हियर ऑल these stories which I always wanted to, and I'm sure everyone here who have participated in life, and for people who will watch on YouTube later on, today we have actually learned that building an institution is not just pouring concrete or hiring faculties. It is about planting a seed of culture. वो बहुत बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. एंड सर, यू हैव शोन अस whether you are restoring the 400 years old palace or you are laying a foundation for an institute, the core philosophy remains the same. You must honor the past to design a sustainable future. You have
Okay.
taught so many generations of architects, and it has been so amazing. You are, in yourself, you are a living classroom for us. On
Okay.
behalf of everyone at MAATI, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and your returning to the roots of building ecosystems that will outlast all of us. To our audience, thank you for joining the episode 3 of MAATI Samvaad. Let's continue to build with purpose and preserve with passion. Good night,
And
everyone, and see you next time. Thank you.